If you're looking to hit your forehand with more spin, power, and confidence, then this is the video for you. We're going to be analyzing in detail the forehand swing technique of current number 5 in the world, Alexander Zverev. I shot this video a couple years ago. He was hitting with Federer, actually. It's a great example of his technique. Let's go ahead and dive right in. And right off the get-go here, I want you to notice his grip, which is a really solid semi-Western, definitely not full Western, definitely also good deal further than Federer, somebody who's like an Eastern. If I had to pick somebody who, for me, that kind of reminds me of grip and swing technique, I think Zverev is kind of right in line with Djokovic as far as his bent arm, his grip, and some other elements as well. So let's go ahead and start playing through. I want you to notice how he starts off by pushing and loading his weight on his outside foot. That helps him wind and coil his body. You'll see his hips here are turning to the side, his chest is turning to the side, and his left hand stays on the racket until just about when it's in the middle of his chest and his body has reached that 90-degree turn point. And at that point in time, you'll see his hands separate from his racket. And I think this is important because I think a lot of players tend to exaggerate this and they bring their left arm way across their body, a lot farther than it needs to be. On the other hand, we don't want to stay open to the court either. So I think Alexander here has split the difference really, really nicely. So from there, I want you to notice how his racket face is facing straight down. It's really aggressive, kind of more a hallmark of the newer generation of strong, athletic, fit athletes hitting a lot of racket head speed, a lot of whip, a lot of spin. And this is a good example of that. Part of this is due to his grip, but he's also turning his palm downwards quite a bit, and that's what closes his racket face. The two of those things together, his hand and also his grip. Now, as he turns forwards, I want you to notice a little detail here with his weight transfer. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. I want you to notice that as he begins his forward movement towards the ball, his left toes touch down, and initially his right foot is flat on the court surface. So that means his weight is loaded on his back foot, and he begins with his right foot partially off the court. His toes touch down first, and then you're going to see a transition here, and that transition is what initiates the kinetic chain and really allows him to flow effortlessly and smoothly and powerfully forwards. So right here, his front foot heel is off the court, and as his front foot heel touches down, watch his back foot. As he starts to rotate forwards and swing, his heel of his back foot comes off the court. So there's a transition here. One foot starts with the heel off the ground, it comes down, and the other foot comes off the ground. And so that is a visual signal of how he's transferred his weight forwards as his body starts to unwind. And as he does that, I want you to look at how he leads really, really early with his chest and with his hips. Back this up a little bit. And the benchmark I'm always looking for is when in the swing is the chest parallel to the baseline. Now, we can't see the baseline here, but we can see this little cement wall and obviously the back fence behind him. That's parallel to the baseline. So he's reaching parallel with that back fence right about here, and his racket is still all the way back behind, loaded, palm still facing down, butt cap pointed forwards towards the ball. There's a lot of dynamic tension and energy being built here, which he's going to unwind and release through the point of contact and into his follow-through. And so when he makes contact, with my amateur athletes, what I'm looking for is chest parallel to the baseline at contact. Zverev continues to unwind, and you'll see that when he reaches contact, here's contact right here. Look at how much further beyond parallel to this back wall his chest is. It's a good deal past parallel, and honestly, this is one of the more extreme examples I've seen of a player opening early and allowing the arm and the hand to lag back behind. And as a result, his chest is very far out in front of his arm. And this is a position that if I was training an amateur athlete, I would say, oh, great job exaggerating that. I wouldn't necessarily be trying to get an amateur athlete to copy this. This is quite a bit past what's necessary to hit a strong athletic swing. Just so you're aware of that. These little kind of nuances are super important to be able to pick out and know if it's for you or if it's like a a world-class player execution. So from contact, I want you to notice how his arm stays bent and he brings the racket up and around, releases the racket head and it smoothly turns around, and his body continues to turn until it's facing completely away from the camera. So if we back this up, you'll see that he started facing the camera completely. At contact, he's a little bit ahead of parallel, and on his follow through, he's completely facing away from the camera. So he's made a full 180-degree unwind with his body, and it's really the main power source or power system in this swing. Without that big rotation, he'd be relying more on his arm to hit the ball, which is what most of you watching this video are doing. If you're below a 5-0 level, I'd say below a 4-5 level, you're relying much more on your arm than you are on your body. It's a critical component that you should be trying to copy, not necessarily to the extent that Zverev does here with opening his chest so soon and so early, but in line with that would help your power tremendously and help you swing with a lot more effortless energy and acceleration. The last thing I'd like to point out is how his follow through has a very circular kind of flowing motion to it. Watch how the tip of his racket circles around here and then actually comes back up again in kind of a figure 8 pattern. He brings the racket up, down and around, and then kind of back up again with kind of a figure 8 pattern, which I kind of like. It really helps the racket decelerate smoothly and in a flowing manner instead of pulling across his body and having the racket come to a jagged kind of stop and kind of hit a brick wall. So those are all the main key points that you should be looking to copy, and maybe not so much look to copy. If you'd like a step-by-step plan to follow so that you can develop your forehand to be more of a weapon, be more like Alexander Zverev's, click the link down below or go to forehandactionplan.com, where we'll give you a step-by-step plan to follow so that you can make your forehand more powerful, more confident, more like his. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you have any comments or questions, leave those down below. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.